MLBA, the Mississippi Hippie, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So, I decided that since I've got some new followers, I was going to do like an update video and an introduction video all in one. Update for everyone that's been following me and knows that I am officially 14 and a half weeks pregnant. Yes, my husband Kelly and I are expecting our first child. Super excited, kind of nervous as well. And for those of you that are new to the channel and didn't know, now you know, I'm pregnant. So I wanted to do a video today, just a little bit of my journey so far since I have made it through the first trimester. And I want to share with you some of my experiences because everybody is different and not everybody has the same experiences. So I wanted to go through everything from like aches, pains, nausea, cravings, just everything in general, the ups, the downs, all that good stuff. So we will continue this when I am not driving. Okay, so now that I'm not driving, back to my story. So back in December of last year, I started having some problems that I had been having, complications with my cycle. I'd had them like 2 years ago and had a laparoscopy surgery where they basically go in, check out everything. I was told everything was fine. Well, I go to a completely different doctor and they informed me, they got our medical records from my previous doctor, informed me that I had had severe endometriosis for 2 years. So the stage I was at in December, it was starting to go to my intestines and my colon. So she said, what we're going to have to do is basically induce pregnancy. She didn't use those terms, but basically put me on medications that would help me get pregnant. And if that didn't work, hysterectomy. If I did nothing about it, then it wouldn't be good. So talked to my husband. We decided, yeah, we're ready for a baby. So I start taking the medications. Well, about 5 days later, I start feeling bad one morning. And I'm like, something's just not right. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm going down. And I waited till my husband came home at lunch and I was like, I don't know if it's the medication. I don't know if it's me. I don't know what. Well, I ended up kind of blacking out a little bit. Not like, well, I don't remember blacking out, but he said I didn't completely fall out. I just kind of like, I really don't know how to describe it, but the whole left side of my body went numb and I couldn't talk for a little bit. Like 20 minutes I couldn't talk. So ended up calling my doctor, asked if it was a side effect from the medications, and they said to go to the emergency room. So I go to the emergency room, get checked in, tell them my symptoms. They call me back to do like the little workup and all that. I had my medicine bag with me, showed them all my medications. One concerned them, because the side effect is stroke, and the symptoms I was having were same symptoms as stroke. So they do an EKG right there, pass me on to another room, they do blood work, and then it was not long after that. Well, I take that back. It was a little wait to actually get to go back to a room because they had a lot going on. It was actually the day before Christmas Eve. But as far as going back and getting x-rays and then going back to the waiting area, that wasn't long. So get back there. They do a CAT scan on me, give me some medication to ease the pain because I was hurting really bad in my left side, like back of my neck and in my back, and couldn't hardly move left side of my body. Well, they do one, come back, talk to us, do another one, 10 and a half hours later, find out on top of the endometriosis, I have a little nerve sticking out of my C7 and C6, just little nerve sticking out, and it was causing problems. And I also had slipped disc in my lumbar vertebrae, so whole different set of problems. So I get referred to somewhere that takes care of it. Fast forward to January, I end up getting an injection for it because I just didn't want to take the medication. I was like, well, we'll just do the series of 3 injections, see what happens. All right, fast forward to 10, 12 days later, we buy a house. All's fine and dandy. So, still taking the medications, the hormones, all that stuff to help with the pregnancy. So at this point, I felt like my endometriosis was getting so much worse. I was having a lot of pain down here. Despite the fact that the injection helped pain, I was having other places. I just I didn't feel right down here. So I had called my doctor, and it had been like a month and a half since we had been doing this, and I'm just like, I cannot handle this. Like, it is just the pain. I can't. We're going to have to go ahead and do the in vitro. And the medicine I was on was supposed to regulate my cycles. That way they could regulate an ovulation date, and that way it would help all that. But I'm like, something's going to have to happen. So we go to a doctor, hour and a half away, and we have a consultation. So fast forwarding, this is February 4th at this point. So they talk to us, tell us their process. They recommend medication that helps them do their job. So that was that. So I go home and I don't get the medication right away because everything was just kind of overwhelming. And after I had got put on the medication back in December and had that reaction, can you blame me for being a little shy about taking something else and possibly having something else happen? Even though what I went to the emergency room for in December was not related to that medication they had put me on. I don't like medicine. You don't ever know how you're going to react, so I'm not going to lie. This was on a Thursday that they gave me the prescription. February 8th was on a Monday, and I finally go to get it filled. So here's the funny part. I'm waiting in line to get it filled, and I had called it in, and the doctor called it in. I had called to make sure it was ready. They told me it was ready. I get up there after they had told me it was ready. It was not ready. Okay, not a problem. So I'm walking around, and in the meantime, I still have this pain that just will not go away. And it's just, there's something different. And I cannot put my finger on it. There's just something different. So I get back in line, and there's 2 people in front of me. And I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a pregnancy test. And I'm just going to see. Because we did try to see if it would happen on our own, since I had been on the medication, without having to go and get the in vitro. So I get the pregnancy test, I go to the counter, get the medication, and then I go home. I also got a really big bottle of water too. So I'm chugging this big bottle of Smart Water, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, as many pregnancy tests as I have taken, and they have been negative, and I would just be so sure that I was pregnant. I'm like, there's no way. But I had a feeling that I had never had before. And if anybody ever tells you that when you're pregnant, you'll know, they're not lying to you. Okay, fast forward. Get home after I'd finished the bottle of water, had to pee, take the pregnancy test. I'm sitting here like, it's just not. I was convinced it was not going to be positive, and guess what? It was positive, and I was just like, I seriously did that. Like, I could feel myself swaying. I'm just like, wait, wait, what? So I wait about 30 minutes and I take another one. Both of them were positive. And I had already told myself, if one's positive and one's negative, maybe it's a false positive. Well, I didn't tell my husband. I called my doctor. And this was almost 2 months after they had put me on the medication. I called them. I said, is there any way the medication that y'all put me on could cause a false positive pregnancy test? They said no. I said, okay. Is there a possibility that I had 2 pregnancy tests just come up positive? Like, if I'm not? And they're like, it's not, I mean, it could be, but probably not. So they made me an appointment for, we had kind of calculated everything out, and they guesstimated where I would be about 7-8 weeks pregnant, where they could hear a heartbeat, and we made an appointment. So called my husband up. He was about to call me anyways, because we had to go pick up a vehicle that was at the shop getting fixed. So he was going to need a ride anyways. I'm like, can you get off work early? He said, no, I can't. I get off in an hour and a half. Why do you want me to get off early? I said, there's something at the house I need you to look at. He's like, do we have a water line busted? Because we had just bought the new house January 23rd, and this is February 8th, and, you know, didn't know if it was something with that. He's like, there's got to be something wrong with the house. Why do you need me to come home now? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. I just need you to come home now. Didn't happen. Well, that's okay. So the house that we were moving from, I go back to it after I drop him off to get the car. And we had boxes of stuff. Like, keep in mind, we have been trying 5.5 years to get pregnant. We had boxes of toys, like not only our old toys, but toys that we had bought. All that stuff I grabbed, put it in the truck, come over to the new house, in the room that was going to be the baby's room, just line that stuff up, like from one end to the other. And I had a little thing, I put the pregnancy test in. So when he came home, I said, okay, are you ready now? He's like, what happened? I said, calm down. It's not anything bad, but I need you to go to this room, and there's 2 things that are white and they're in something, and I need you to find them. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I said, there's 2 things that are white and they're in something, and I need you to find them. So he goes in the room, he's looking around. He finds pregnancy tests and he pulls them out. He's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna try not to cry. He was like so excited, like he couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was an awesome reaction. So this is the part I wanted to share with y'all. And this next part, no matter what you're going through, it is really hard when you're trying and you don't get pregnant. Talk to your doctor. Like, find out if something's going on, because that was one thing that I had problems with the previous doctor, not the one I'm using now, but the previous doctor. I would talk to him, but there wasn't a line of communication. She would talk to me, but wasn't thorough. You've got to have a doctor that's thorough. You've got to have a doctor that cares. I'm just being honest. Not every doctor is in it for the right reasons. Not every doctor cares. So if you are having complications and you're just not getting the answers that you feel you need, go get a second opinion. Don't be afraid to get a second opinion, because look at me. I had the same doctor for years and nothing. The instant I changed doctors, look at what happened. But also too, remember this: everything happens when God is ready for it to happen. So God times everything for a reason. Just remember that. So next part I want to share with you is my experience from then to now. So they say that sometimes you have implantation bleeding. I had none of that. I could definitely tell in the beginning when all the implantation was happening, like the period cramps, the premenstrual cramps, like right before you start and all that. Mine personally was not the same as that, but keep in mind I also had really bad endometriosis. So the feeling I had that made me feel like I needed a test was, not only was I late, but I had a lot of pains that was not in usual areas I do right before I start. So that was kind of one of my dead giveaways. I never really got morning sickness. Now there was, I'm not gonna lie, there were some times that I would eat something and I would get sick, or like would have a really bad headache and would get sick. So I'm not saying I haven't been sick this whole time, but as far as just like the raging morning sickness, I have not had that. I do, if you watch my TikToks, I do actually have a bump now at only 14 weeks. Everybody is different. Some people show later, some people show sooner. So that's another thing. I started using coconut butter and coconut oil to help prevent stretch marks. And my protein. I started watching my protein intake and making sure I'm eating more protein, because you need that for the baby's brain development, and it's just good in general. You want to watch your sugar intake, definitely, because you don't want gestational diabetes. Trying to think if there's any other advice I can give. Like, I've never had a baby before. This is my first time. But I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there to help, because I know, like, getting pregnant and being pregnant can be, like, very emotional. Prenatal depression, yes. I've battled depression since I was 14 years old, off and on. So my biggest battle right now with the pregnancy is not morning sickness. It's not like appetite or anything like that. It's really the prenatal depression. But my husband is really, really good at being supportive. He's there for me if I'm having a really bad day. He talks me through it. So that's another thing that's important, is if you're going through it, you've got to have a good support system. I have a lot of friends that talk to me and help me get through stuff. And then also too, just talking to everybody on here, talking to people on TikTok, that also helps a lot. I've made a lot of friends on TikTok, and we share experiences. We share, like, if we're having a bad day, we talk to each other, lift each other up. That's really a positive thing too. I'm going to do something a little unique, and I don't care if anybody laughs at me for it. I am going to, two things. I just thought about another one when I was about to say this, but I am actually writing the baby a story for the whole, like, when I found out I was pregnant all the way up through when I go into labor. I'm kind of writing on it a little bit each day, kind of like a journal, but it's going to eventually be a book for the baby. So I thought that was cute and kind of wholesome. Another thing too is I'm making notes of stuff, like, as I read. I do have the what to expect when you're expecting, but This is a book that I'm reading, The Medical Embryology. I actually have a little bit of a medical background. I used to be a veterinary technician. I know it has absolutely nothing to do with human medicine, but being able to read and write, knowing some of the medical terms and stuff used with that, it really helps me understand this book and the concept of it. This is actually a book that students read when they're in school for different things in the medical field. I'm really not sure who all is required to take it, so I'm not going to say. But I got this at a bookstore in Tennessee one time when we was out of town. And I put it back for when we got pregnant so I could be a little bit more advanced in what I was reading. So I'm going to also be writing notes like while I'm pregnant, things that I need to be doing for myself, exercise-wise, diet-wise, but also too when the baby's born, things that I need to do diet-wise, schedule-wise, to ensure I have the best, healthiest, happiest baby. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with y'all as well. So if you like this video, make sure, keep your notifications on. I'm going to be posting more. Probably fixing to wrap it up. I do appreciate you watching this. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I'll definitely be posting more videos, but I wanted to share this with y'all. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.